And hello, welcome back, Worldwide Wolves. It's been a couple weeks, but we are back. And despite what everyone's thinking, no, Jake did not avoid me last week because he didn't want to admit that he was wrong about Bones Highland. I may have been right. It's whatever. All right, we'll get into that later. But we are back. We're coming here off a huge win against the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're gonna talk about that, but also just like broadly talk about the Wolves, kind of in context of the Oklahoma City Thunder game, because at the end of the day, that's the best team in the league. That's the team you're gonna have to beat, and they did yesterday. We'll see if it's sustainable. But Jake, how you doing? Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
big
I'm
win.
doing good. Yeah, big win. I'm doing well. He didn't even give me a chance to apologize for outright dismissing Bones Highland as a possibility,
Yep,
which feels foolish now. But yeah, it was a great win yesterday. It was high time that this team kind of got a win like that. Like they've had a couple of good wins. I'd say the Golden State win. We haven't spoken since then. That was a good win. Obviously, the Boston and San Antonio games I would count as good wins. I don't think they've had a great win yet this season, and that was certainly a great win. Like it was just kind of it felt like a playoff game. They played it like a playoff game. Chris Finch got ejected in 6 minutes or something. It was fun, and I think even in their wins this season, there's been a lot of times where this team hasn't felt fun. In my mind, I'd been kind of comparing it to the Jimmy season, which was like
interesting.
not overly fun, but the team was good, undoubtedly good. Like especially before Jimmy got injured. And I like the players more on this team than I did on that team, but it did have that feeling this season where it was like a real grind, even when they were
Yeah,
winning games. So um, that that was a difference. That was a big difference yesterday. Um, it wasn't a grind. It was just all out kind of full throttle fun, and that's what we love.
yeah. I mean, there's not even a win that comes relatively close in my like the San Antonio win. It's cool, but Wemby didn't play, and obviously
Mm-hmm.
Boston's pretty shorthanded just all season here. Great win. It's a win that we've kind of been begging for, and one that I certainly didn't expect. Like if they would have lost this game, it wouldn't have been like, what the heck? Like you've got to be kidding, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
they went into this with pretty low expectations, and to come out of it with a win, it just kind of, well, it gives us something positive to talk about for a change, which is cool. I mean, not that we've been like super negative, but we've been talking about this team in a lens of like they're 15-8, but
Mm-hmm.
are they good? And this win, at least, it gave us a jumping off point to kind of think that this team is good, has potential to maybe make a run, and just give us positive questions on the outlook of all of this. But to keep this a bit structured, we're going to do what we typically do, maybe something just a broad overlook at the season, tying in the OKC game, something that's a little underrated, and then something we think maybe is real or fake. And we're going to have just like one of those between the two of us each. I don't know, there's a lot to go over for this OKC game, but something I want to talk about just here with this game is I'm looking at Tim Connolly and just like the ball is fully in his courts as he's in a unique position that so few presidents of basketball operations, general managers in the league are in right now, where they already have that player that can lead a team to beating OKC in the playoffs. And now it's about just making the roster around him capable to doing it over 7 games. They can do it in one game, like for sure. We saw it, heck, last year in the playoffs, 2 games. But Anthony Edwards is the type of player, like Victor Wembanyama, Wemby, that
You
that
just did with
can,
Wemby.
yeah, whatever, the type of player that is the centerpiece to solving this Oklahoma City team. And they do certainly, this Wolves team, have parts around Anthony Edwards that can be in that core. But I'm looking at this roster and wondering, where do they go from here? What does Tim Connolly do? I have no idea. If it's a big move, a small move, I really do think something is coming at or before the trade deadline this year. And I wonder how much the outlook of that for Connolly and Matt Lloyd changes just based off this game and just based off the possibility of looking at it and saying, okay, they can beat Oklahoma City. Is there a move we can make that makes it so we can beat them 4 times out of 7? Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Yeah, I think it does. I think we have a track record with this team with against Denver. Like I don't think they were built to beat Denver as much as the media like to make it out, but they were definitely built with Denver in mind. That Denver seemed like they were going to be the dynasty, the juggernaut of the Western Conference, and Minnesota kind of constructed their team around trying to take down that juggernaut. And I think now you have a real juggernaut in OKC. Like they're a lot better than Denver ever were, and they are more sustainable than Denver seem to be. It doesn't feel like this is going to end anytime soon. The salary cap will come for OKC eventually, but they've got $1 billion first-round picks,
Right.
and a guy who's made a lot of great draft picks in his career in Sam Presti. So it does make sense that you need to factor OKC into team building, and for this team specifically, who's obviously in their conference, in their division, been to the Western Conference Finals and got kind of beaten up by them before, it would make sense that when they're looking at the trade deadline, looking at these windows, even next season's draft, I think even last season's draft with Berenger is kind of built to be like a Wemby OKC type of player. It would make sense to me that they're looking to upgrade this team in ways that specifically relate to OKC. And I think when you're looking at the team, like you said, you've got Ant. Ant is going to be good against all teams. I mean, that was just insane. That the ending of that game, I think the whole game from Ant, considering he was coming off a kind of a weird layoff.
I thought he was going to be bad, Ben. He's usually so bad coming off the
Yeah,
injuries.
and I thought he started off kind of rusty. Like he hit the three at the start of the game, but then it was a little bit forced. He didn't have the flow. I think the rhythm of the game gets away from him when he hasn't played. Like it's not like he's coming off a long injury, ACL, something like that, where he doesn't have like his shot there or his legs aren't there. I think it's the rhythm of the game kind of gets to him where he's just not in his like flow state that he gets into over multiple game stretches. It looked like that early in the game, and then he just found it, and the end of that game was flow state kind of personified, both ends of the floor. So you've got that player. You've got, I think, Jaden McDaniels seems to be the kind of player who fits on a good team against anyone. And then there's question marks, like Randle has been bad every game against OKC for 2 seasons. Gobert's up and down. I thought he was great last night, Gobert, but wasn't great in the playoff series. Is he the player they kind of can rely on in a series against OKC or Denver for that matter? I think they kind of, Denver, Houston, like all of these teams, a lot of the same players make sense, in all of these matchups. So they've just got to figure some things out. Things like Randle, Gobert, the point guard position, obviously. Is Naz Reid someone that they think can have a bigger role? Can he not play against these teams? There's a lot to figure out there. What are your thoughts? What sparked this thought from you?
The win, seeing this team beat Oklahoma City and just getting like some hope into, just hope into me that this is a real thing. When I look at this roster right now, do I think they could beat OKC in a 7-game series? No. Do I think they could beat Denver or Houston or anyone else in the Western Conference in a 7-game series? Yes. So that's where the question lies, is they're good enough to make it to the Western Conference Finals again. They're made good enough to, do a lot. Except I think, it's weird, to say coming off the win they just had, but it's just that I saw how close I think they can be in that 7-game series because of how they won. So I come at this looking at it with Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels in mind, and then everything else kind of being, like you mentioned, the big question mark where I have to wonder, is Julius Randle someone who can eventually step up his game against OKC? Right now, I would lean no. Rudy Gobert, same thing, same question, and I would lean no. But those problems, it's not the easiest solution in the world. In fact, it's extremely difficult, otherwise they would have done it by now. So it's a thing where I'm looking at it like, there's potential here for this Wolves team to legitimately go to the finals, and who knows what happens from there. If they beat OKC, you're probably going to win the finals, unless you're just so exhausted, but let's get there first. Anyways, I'm ahead of my skis a little here.
And that's the thing about kind of trying to build a team or really construct a team to combat another team, is that like, there's a chance that you can never be as good as OKC are right now. Like their team building has been about as perfect as any team has ever been built. So I don't think it's
Do you think this team could beat OKC in 7?
I mean, they would be out. Obviously, they'd be massive underdogs.
Yeah.
But
do you think it's a possibility?
No, I don't probably,
Okay.
but I don't know if that's like a detriment to Tim Conley, a detriment. Like I just feel like
No, 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 no. It's just the end game, I guess, is what I'm saying.
yeah, and you're right. Like it's the question that needs to be asked, and it's a question I don't love in general. But when they've just played OKC, I think it's a very fair question to ask. But
We
it's
finally
just
just
kind of
have a bar to like measure this Wolves team up
yeah,
against, whereas before it was the Kings and then the Pacers, the Kings and then the Kings again, and you're like, oh my god,
yeah.
I have
So I
no
think
idea what this team is. So
I think
yeah,
um, on that note, the thing that we should do, I guess, is like what helped them win this game, and can they both replicate it, or can they go and find more of that thing? And to me, the two things are Anthony Edwards was in superstar mode. You know, like you had this kind of all NBA shot creator who could defend as well in this game, especially, and could bend OKC's defense kind of to his will throughout the game. And so, can you get another one of those? You're not going to get an Anthony Edwards level, but can you get like your second option is not good against them? That's a kind of an issue there. The other thing is that they were just great defensively, and I just think you need. I don't know if you're ever going to be great offensively against OKC. Their defense is so insanely good. Like, I don't think in any 7 game series you're going to go in and post like 125 offensive rating over 7 games. I just don't think that's even physically possible against this team. I think what you can do is be a great defense against them. I think, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is going to get his. I think you can limit guys like Jalen Williams. I think you can force Lou Dort and Alex Caruso to make 6 threes in a game to beat you. And they will occasionally. But, that's you have to take those gambles against this team. So, to me, if I'm looking at OKC, trade deadline, upgrading this team, I just think I think another defender is the thing that they need. Whether it's like a guy off the bench who's big and can defend, but can also, is a playoff level player offensively. Like this is not the name I want, but I always go to like Dorian Finney-Smith, like, can you get a guy who's like
the
not,
OKC killer. Yep,
yeah,
that's what
not
they
a
call
bad,
him.
yeah, not a bad defender, not a great defender, not a bad offensive player, not a great, but like very much a playoff player on any team situation. Maybe not now, but kind of, a few years ago, definitely.
The type of yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like can you get an actual like is Keon Ellis kind of like
How in are you on Anthony Davis, or out are you on Anthony Davis?
Anthony Davis?
Yeah,
Not very. The
no,
contract's massive. I just don't think they can afford to make a mistake contract wise, and he might not be. I mean, obviously Anthony Davis is a fantastic player, but like we're talking about a guy who's very injured all of the time,
I know.
and I think he's owed maybe 60 million for multiple years. Like you're just taking on a cat contract for a guy who's like 6 years older and better at when they're playing their best. But like,
It's
I just think
intriguing, man. To me,
it's intriguing. But I think you're also giving up Gobert. So you are. I mean,
I am giving up Gobert in this.
yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm gaining faith in the Gobert thing because I just think
okay.
you have to be so good defensively, and Davis is, but so reliable. Kind of like Gobert plays all the time.
Yeah,
Like I think he's got better offensively. He's not good offensively, clearly, but like they're 14 points per 100 better with him on the court defensively. And Davis would make up a big chunk of that. Like we know that he's a Gobert-esque level defender. But is he playing 40 games? Does he care enough about playing for Minnesota? You know what I mean? Like he seems like the type of guy who sits out if he's kind of, woke up with a runny nose.
I know. I'm thinking of it just more as like a like fantasy style potential where I see it healthy, but I
I
don't
could,
know.
I could get behind it next to Gobert, and that would be weird.
Interesting.
And like it would be. Is Davis? Does he want to play power forward or center? I know he wants to play only one of those. I
He
think it's
wants to
power
play out
forward.
of Dallas, so hey,
Yeah,
Minnesota, how about that? It's a lot colder.
yeah. I could get behind the big twin towers. of Davis and
Okay,
Gobert, because
that
then
could be interesting.
all of a sudden you were the best defense in the league whenever those two play. Like I think that is how you beat OKC. I think you beat them by being a better defense than well, you're not going to be a better defense probably than them, but by like matching them, getting in the mud with them defensively, making this what was last night 112 to 107. Like that's if every game both teams are under 115, I think you can beat OKC. You can't beat them if they score 120 because they are going to limit you to a low total. They are going to be one of the best defenses ever. So can you get into a fist fight with them, a mud fight, and can you say, all right, Anthony Edwards, take us home? And I think last night that was kind of the ploy. The offense wasn't good last night from either team. The Wolves shot 37%, missed 14 free throws, and beat OKC.
Yeah.
Like that, and that only happens because they also made OKC shoot 37%. And I think that's the blueprint, and that's tough to do. That's why they're the clear favorites, because the blueprint is like this, such a narrow little path.
I just keep coming back to Julius Randle in this whole conversation because we're talking here and we're saying like it's hard to be a good offensive team or even like a mediocre offensive team against the Thunder. And consistently, Julius Randle is a player that drops against the Thunder in the playoff series and just when the Wolves play them this season. And then we talk about, well, then the way to beat them is defensively. And when we've talked about Julius Randle this year, the biggest weakness by far has been defensively.
Oh,
and I'm
they
not,
went at,
you know, I'm
they
not
went
out
at
on
him
Julius
last night.
Randle. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I guess what's your read on Julius defensively in the scheme that they were playing last night, where they're crashing on Shea and leaving the guys open from three, but they've got to have the
Yeah.
athletes to still get out at the 3-point line to at least
Yeah.
contest. So is
I
Julius
think he
part of
was.
this?
I think he was like, diligent is how I would say on the rotations. I think his problem was he got burnt off ball, like back cut, his man just sliding off him. I would say 6 to 10 times last night.
Yeah, and that's what they're great at.
Yeah, exactly, and that takes a great team to like. They're like a robot, aren't they?
Yeah,
OKC.
it's insane, dude.
They know every single weakness, and it's like they go in with a game plan. They never make a game plan mistake. It feels like I'm sure on their whiteboard last night was Randall's not going to pay attention off ball. Naz Reid doesn't rotate, at the rim enough or quick enough as a low man. Randall doesn't either. Like when those two are on the floor, we're going to the rim. We're moving off the ball behind them. We're going to make them defend in space. And I thought Naz was actually pretty good at it last night. It's not his forte at all, but Randall wasn't. And like you said, I think you can. I don't think you can survive bad defenders on your team in championship moments, but you can survive it. If Julius Randle was Julius Randle that he's been on offense all season, it makes more sense. The problem is that against OKC, he's also like, he just cannot score. He cannot do anything. He shot 3 of 15 again last night. And I thought, credit to him, he kind of found ways to get to the line. He got to the line. He had 16 free throws last night.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And 15 shots. That guy had the ball a lot.
Yeah. But it just feels like, I think all the time I'm lower on Randall than a lot of people are. So this does, it's coming from a bad place, I guess. But I think all the time he feels a bit like an island in the river, like it feels like when everything's flowing, it's flowing around him. And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. Ant can be like that as well. Against OKC, it really feels like he's an island out in the middle of the ocean, like it's just like everyone is on a different offensive wavelength to him. Like last night, Ant had maybe 3 or 4 great possessions in a row. And then it was like Julius Randle post up ISO mid-range shot. And it was kind of like,
yep.
And then I think he turned it over the next possession as well. And that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, I don't know if he's viable against this OKC team. But that comes back to, is trading Julius Randle or finding a better second option because he's not good against OKC, is that the right move? Does it help you win against everyone else? Because you still need to beat Denver and Houston, and you still need to win 50 plus games in the regular season. Like, I struggle to square that kind of like, are you building a team? Are you robbing Peter to pay Paul? If you build a team just specifically for OKC.
Yeah, I don't have like a ton of names in front of me, but if they make the move with Julius where they do eventually send him off, I have to think it'll be for a player that is capable of pushing them to that next level. Again, we'll see when or if it happens. It just might not. Like, again, Julius in the other 2 series last year was awesome, was elite. So
yeah,
he's a really good player.
And that's the thing, isn't that's kind of what I'm saying is it's weird. Like, do you beat the Lakers and do you beat the Warriors without Randle? Maybe not. Like I thought their game plan, both of those teams' game plan on Ant was pretty good, and Ant wasn't bad by any means in those two series. Like he was very good, but you needed that bully ball kind of brute force scorer next to Ant, and that helped them get to the Western Conference Finals. And then you kind of see that there's like a glass ceiling on that bully ball style that hold the ball. And he's like that as well, and that's worth pointing that out. But can you carry two of them against OKC if one of them isn't like
Right.
an All NBA
Ant
first
continues
team
to
level?
rise against OKC. Like when Ant does it, but he gets better when he plays the
Yeah,
like he's just so elite. He's a top 5 player in the league.
yeah,
Julius
and that's
Randle's a
the thing.
top
Yeah,
30 player in the league, but
yeah,
just yeah.
it's he's testing like the limits of how good can you be and be an isolation player.
Yep.
Like we know Ant can be like Shea is an isolation player.
Yeah.
Every great player in the league, maybe except for Jokic, is like operates in isolation more than any other play type, and that's I do it bothers me a little bit when we talk sometimes about isolation with Ant as it's a bad thing. Like every great player dribbles the ball 15 times and then shoots because they are the best option on the court almost at all times to do so. If you can hear noises, that would be my son banging his toys against the wall
I
out there.
can't, don't worry. But maybe it's
His mum is out there. I'm not just in here neglecting him.
I
But
talking
yeah,
about the Timberwolves, child. All right.
close the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Randall, I think, is like right on that limit of like, is he good enough to do it? Sometimes I feel like yes, sometimes I feel like no. And against OKC, importantly, I always feel like no.
Yeah,
So.
okay. I thought you were saying sometimes against OKC you feel like yes,
No,
but
but
okay.
in other games, it does.
Other
it's
games
a
I
lot.
feel consistently like yes, which
Yeah,
just makes this conversation
it's a
so
life
fun.
raft, not an island. Like that. You just like thank God Julius is out there eating up these possessions.
Yep. Yeah. All right. We should move on to this thing that I think we can each agree is the real or fake category. Bones Highland.
Mm-hmm.
You made a video on Bones. Target Center gets louder than ever when Bones shoots the ball. People love Bones Highland. We're getting
That's
busy. It's
important. That
everything.
is,
Yeah.
and it's an important thing,
You got
man.
the
Like,
celebration. I'm not gonna do it, but he's got a good celebration.
I'm not going to do it.
No, that's all right. We don't have to.
But I do think that the crowd loving a player is like more than just like it's
Who
not.
would you compare it to? Pat Bev had this.
Pat Bev has it. I mean, the thing is, like Rob had it at the start, but Rob didn't he didn't pay the crowd back enough. Like it's a two-way street, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I was at the Spurs and Celtics games. Like there was still a pretty good cheer for Rob, but it was
yeah. I
it
don't
was
think the crowd
decreased.
is like turned on him or anything.
It's certainly lower than it was though.
Yeah,
Not to
Timberwolves
like go in
crowds
on Rob.
are very good. Like
They're so smart, dude. Like
yeah,
so smart.
It's a fan base that I'm very proud to kind of be a part of in that sense. I would compare it to Nas. I think Nas is a pretty good like comparison. I still feel like Nas gets like the biggest cheer every time he checks into the game.
It's like its own thing. You can't compare anything to Nas, really.
Yeah, and Nas is similar in that he's not perfect, he's flawed, but he has high
offensively. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has those high highs, and the when Nas is in like a little boomlet, it feels like Target Center is in the boomlet with him.
Yes, I like that.
And I think Bones is the same, like he's got the swag. He's like a small Nas, like he's sometimes more swag than like actual production, but then sometimes the production matches the swag, and that's when it kind of pops off, like so. Yeah, I was wrong. Not wrong. I mean, I was wrong, but I was. I wasn't like out on Bones, kind of like as a player. I just thought, are we doing the right thing? Are they?
We kind of agreed. It didn't make like it was weird.
Yeah,
you had to keep playing Rob. You had to.
Committing the right resources, I guess. If you're going to just like crowbar Bones into 15 minutes a night, what I probably didn't expect is that this team like really needed it. Like, I mean, he scored 13 points. Was that three games that he scored, over 10 points? We're just not seeing that from the bench. Like Nas, there was a stat on the broadcast last night that Nas had 44% of the team's bench points this season.
Yeah,
which
I mean, that makes total sense.
Really high for like it to be healthy. Feels unhealthily high.
Yeah, it feels low from what I've been watching, but like it feels high for like, what you need. I mean, dude, it's bad. Rob's not scoring. TJ's not scoring. Jalen Clark is really good defensively, but he's not scoring.
Mhm.
Conley, man. I mean, nope.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you got from there? It's got to
And
be
I
Bones
think
Highland.
and I think it has made Nas's life more difficult as well. Like I know it's
Oh yeah.
obviously not defensively, like that's a separate issue, but I think Nas is working the best with bench units when he's not like the main guy. He
Well,
can
if
give
he
you
has a bad night, the entire bench has a bad night, and then the Wolves probably
yeah.
lose. Like, there's so much pressure on his shoulders to, like, carry a whole bench unit.
Mhm.
And sure, he's the sixth man of the year. He should be able to do so. But when you have Nikhil Alexander Walker by your side instead of Rob Dillingham, it's a lot better. I mean, for
Yeah.
sure. And Dante last year, too. The bench unit is completely, like, ripped apart from what it was
Mhm.
last year in terms of offensive firepower.
Yeah, I think we're seeing like more Nas Reed post ups, I think, this season. And I don't think that's a product of them being like, we need to get Nas in the post. We think this is like his best skill. I think it's more that they're like, we don't have any other creators on the court in these mostly bench lineups. Nas is not the best at like running a pick and, like if he drives into traffic, he's going to turn the ball over. The best thing that we can do for Nas to have the offense, revolve around him is to get him into the post a little bit more. And I think that's like a symptom of like we just don't have anyone who can score, who can create, we can just give the ball to and say, like Ant, the dollar store Ant, that it's like you might need a dribble for 14 seconds here. Like that is a necessary thing in an offense. People like to kind of, we all want ball movement, but ball movement only comes by collapsing defense, and if you have no one, you can't just swing the ball around the perimeter and hope that a team forgets you there, like you need guys who can penetrate, kick out, and create that ball movement, and more importantly, penetrate and score themselves, because that's what causes these defenses to kind of overreact. I think Bones is like that. Like it's been surprising how like scared defenses, not scared, but like willing to overcommit to him when he drives. And that's something we just don't see with Rob or especially Conley, like they're not scared of those guys scoring inside the arc. I think they recognize that Bones is a threat to score and pass, below the 3 point line. And then he's making threes. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's the most important. Yeah, just
yeah.
because it opens up everything for this offense. Is what we said with Rob beginning of the season. We said he's got to hit threes, and he wasn't
Mm-hmm.
even shooting threes. So Bones
Yeah.
Island is coming in, shooting and hitting them, and it's electric, man. It really is. And like I guess I don't hate Rob's like rim penetration considering how bad he's been from three. But even when he gets
Mm-hmm.
in, it's just not making it. He's fine passing, I think for the most part, inside the
Yeah,
arc.
like I think he can do like the driving. I think he's good at drive and kick.
Yeah, but he
But
just is not a threat to put the ball
yeah,
in the cup at all.
yeah, and the drive and kick, I think people not like it feels less impactful when you're not getting the scoring with it as well. Like the drive and kick is impactful for the offense, but it's not. You don't. I think you don't get like the double punch of this guy can get into the paint and score, or he can make that pass. It's just like if he gets there, he's going to miss or he's going to make a pass, which can be a good thing. The pass, but obviously, the missing isn't good. I mean, I thought Rob was great last night.
Yeah,
I think as good
he
as
went like 0
anyone
for
who shot.
4, but he was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think as good as anyone who shot 0 for 4 could probably be. As a
Yep.
tiny point guard, he was a plus 10 in that game, which is
The
crazy.
oop to Rudy, man. I mean, you can see the
Mm,
vision of what they see like
yeah,
working here. It's the development is extremely slow.
he's had such a weird season, Rob. Like he's a good defender. Like he's tiny. It's weird because he's obviously not a great individual defender. He might be one of the best like rotation defenders on the
Yep.
team.
He's
Like
so quick. I mean,
he's
that's his
so
thing.
quick. For some reason, like credit to the coaching staff, credit to him. He's super switched on his rotations, which is not you can't say the same, about everyone on this team. They're 7.6 points per 100 better when he's on the court defensively. That's 87th percentile in the league, and he's played, almost 300 minutes. Like it's not a small sample size. Every time he's on the court, they do it defensively. It's so weird, and it's not like it because he's doing, he's being a pest. But
He's
I
not Jalen
think
Clark. Yeah, yeah. Like
no,
he's just
I think the
playing well
whole
with the
team
team.
defends. Yeah, and I think the whole team defends better when he's out there. Maybe to try and cover him. Maybe because he brings a little bit of energy.
I
That
think it's both of those. Like I think it is to like they know they got to cover for him a little bit, but Rob is
Mhm.
he's like deceptively cool, just good. I don't
Yeah.
know. His defense has been so
That stop
impressive
on
this year.
that stop on SGA in transition last night. I
Yeah.
thought that was like a
To
real
save it, get it out in transition too, like
and
it's great.
that was the oop, I think. That was the
Yeah.
other end. And it's like that's a huge moment in the fourth quarter of a massive game. And it's like, you can expect him to make more shots. I do. But it's like if you're not making shots, you better be doing stuff like that. And he is
Yep.
doing stuff like that.
Yeah, and but then you just see the mid-range pull up in the front of the free throw line where he's got 5 feet of space. And it's just a complete miss.
Yeah.
I've been so frustrated with Rob because I came into this season thinking, all right, big year. And again, there's a lot of signs that he has a lot of this intangible stuff, but it's not even with the scoring with me where I'm like, okay, I see it developing. It seems to be getting worse.
Mhm.
So
I'll throw this in there. I guess this can relate to like, is this real or fake kind of topic. Uh, Does Rob? Because I think Rob's been as good as probably he's been all season in the last maybe 5 games. Like, and
sure.
obviously the bar is low for Rob, and we know that. Do you think him playing with Bones or like him and Bones being the point guard rotation, is that anything or is that just a coincidence?
Good
Because
question.
it feels like he's got a bit of the Bones swag about him,
It
and it's
feels,
obviously
yeah, or almost like he's got like nothing to lose. Like Bones is kind of coming for his job,
yeah.
and it's a weight off
Oh,
his shoulders, and
and
he's
it could be
working
that
well
he
with it.
got benched. Like he got benched before Conley got injured, so like he was out of the rotation. So maybe
Yeah,
it's him feeling like, this I've been given a lifeline here with Conley's injury. Like I need to make the most of it. And I think it should be Bones and Rob. Like
yeah.
I don't think Conley should be in the rotation when he gets back. I just feel like that would kind of frustrate me, to be honest.
There's no way that Bones goes back on the bench. You can't put that back in the bottle here. I mean,
Rob, it'll be Rob, I think.
yeah,
I don't think Bones is going back in the bottle.
I know. I wish it would be Rob over Mike, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
same.
still enjoy watching Rob play, even though it's kind of ugly. Like,
And
there's
I
just an
still,
energy that Mike brings a stability, but I
mhm.
like the energy right now.
Yeah, I think Bones is kind of and obviously Bones is better, just flat out better than both right now.
Yeah,
But I think Bones is kind of proving, I guess, one of my theories, I guess, with Rob. But now it's transferred to Bones even more. Is that like this team plays better when they have a bit of volatility? Like
fair.
I don't think slow and steady wins the race for them. I think they're at their best when they are a bit dumb. Like
I mean, it
last night.
helps. Like Anthony Edwards is like, this is my favorite player ever.
Yeah, and
There's a
he's a
reason
bit
for that.
dumb, on the
Yeah,
court.
yeah.
And Randall's a bit dumb, and like DiVincenzo's a
Nas,
bit
yeah,
dumb.
yeah.
Yeah, like I think rather than trying to temper that with like the old kind of master with the master splinter, you just let another kind of ninja turtle out there
I
and
love
just
this. I think I love this take. Like this makes a lot of sense, and I hope
yeah,
they
like
hope they see it.
and I think Bones is like the perfect blend of that, where he does feel like more mature version than Rob, obviously, and less steadying than Mike. But he's the perfect blend of the two, I think. And then they have to make the decision: do you want like the old wise guy, or do you want the young kind of rascal out there to keep running with these guys? And I just think that like with the fact that Dillingham's almost 20 years younger than him, like which is just insane to say. And he is still, even if you don't believe in him anymore, which I think a lot of people don't fairly, there's still upside there to tap into. Whereas Conley, I think they've squeezed all the juice out of that orange.
Yeah. And Bones, even though it's a band-aid and maybe you need someone else to eventually fill this role, he does fill a sort of secondary creator style next to
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards. Like we mentioned it a bit
Yeah.
ago, but just when he gets the ball in his hands, he's going to do something with it. And I don't know, it's good for Ant, good for the team, good for the offense. I'm excited to see how it progresses, how defenses adjust, and how the Wolves
Mm-hmm.
kind of adjust to that as well. But
And
yeah, I mean,
also,
it's such a surprising development.
and also what Bones is like when the 3-point shot isn't falling. Because I think we know he's got some juice off the bounce and stuff, but like a lot of these games that he's been having lately have been kind of predicated on the fact that he's making multiple threes as well. So like,
Yeah,
can he
what's
get
he's
more?
shooting what 40% right now, I think, on the
He'd be
season.
yeah.
39 on 2.7 attempts. Like I think he could sustain that, but he'll have
Yeah, well, I
dips.
mean, yeah, he was a good shooter in the like his last year in Denver. He was a good shooter in other seasons, so he's a good shooter. Like, but it's like if
There will be
he,
games where he goes 0 for 4 from
yeah,
3.
how
Yep. Okay.
reliant on the shooting is he? I want to see more minutes with Ant. You know, like I don't want to see him start. I think that DiVincenzo. I think they're trying to figure in
Yeah.
the starting lineup out, but like him and Ant are a plus 12 this season, 69 possessions. So like
What about him and Rob? Do you have that?
Bones and Rob.
Yeah.
I can get it for you. I feel like
Oh, I
that's
thought
going to
you.
be
Okay.
low. I feel like that's going to be low because do they play together a lot? Like,
I don't know. I just
yeah, they've played 34 possessions. They're a
okay.
plus 26, but it feels like a lot of those, like, I mean, at least half of
It's
those
just
possessions
ultra
have been garbage
chaotic out
time.
there. Okay.
Yeah.
Just I was just wondering what that was. No problem. All right. Back to
They
Edwards.
have one lineup of Dillingham, Bones, DiVincenzo, Naz Reid, and Gobert, who have played 8 possessions together, a plus 153. So if we can just,
Malpractice to not be running
yeah,
that all game.
they just start that, they'll win every game by 180.
Man. All right. Well, Bones Highland, man. I mean, it's weirdly been a conversation on this podcast consistently, even though he's
Yeah, well,
not been playing consistently.
you've been banging this drum. Like,
It got
fair
to a point
play
where I
to
was like, all
you.
right, like, is it getting annoying now to keep bringing up Bones Highland? But no,
Well,
Tim
I thought
Connolly,
you were.
man, he
Yeah, I
thought so
did think
too.
you were barking up, an unrealistic tree. Not the wrong one, but one that just like
Yeah.
they make the decision that they're committing to Rob. They're committing to TJ, which we haven't mentioned him. He's in this
Yep.
conversation too, where like I think he was not out. He played 5 minutes last night, but he was the guy who was like, "Oh, you're not in the rotation anymore. You're just playing because they're down a player." But you can't. I don't think you can have all three of Bones, Rob, and Mike in the rotation. But if we're doing it on like what player shouldn't be playing, it's TJ.
It's one of the biggest developments of the season in a negative way is TJ Shannon. Because we came into this with him penciled into our like projected rotations as like, is this guy 15 minutes or 20 minutes?
Yeah.
And right now
Or
it's
30. I was
0.
like, we're gonna get to 30 at some point,
Yeah,
baby.
we were so confident in this guy. And man, it is really, really bad. I still want to be like, it'll maybe turn around, but he's not 20. He's not Rob Dillingham, 20 years old, completely raw.
Well, that's the
He's
thing.
like, he's older than Bones Highland, like right next to
Yeah,
Bones Highland in
yeah.
age, man. And
It's
Bones
so
is on
much
his third
different.
team. Like,
Yeah, it's so much different to be like handing out development minutes to Dillingham at 20, who was a lottery pick and like a high value kind of star at the college level, compared to handing out minutes to a 25-year-old who's not performing like that. He's on. I really like Terrence Shannon Jr. I hope that he figures it out because I think this team needs what he brings at his best. But
well,
he
that's why
is
we
on
never talked about the bench scoring like in a negative way coming into the year
exactly.
because we
Yeah,
thought he would just be, filling in for Nikhil and that would just work really well. Nope.
yeah. But my patience is wearing thin with it, to be honest. Like, I think maybe the Bones thing has expedited that, where it's like we've got the scorer now, and I say that I sound like Colin Coward, when he's like,
hey TJ, we're all good. I love that being said.
But like it just I feel like I like watching Rob. I think Rob like has games where he's like, yeah, this bad scoring positive player. I'm struggling to see it with TJ, which is just weird because I don't know why. Like, I don't know why he's so bad defensively. Like, if Rob can be good defensively, why is TJ so bad? I don't know why he's not scoring. I don't know why he can't physically use his right hand.
Dude, what on earth? Just like not even a little bit. He won't even attempt it if it's wide open.
I feel like they should say next time you're on the right side of the rim, if you do not use your right hand and you get blocked, you can come back to the rotation in 10 games.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're trying, but how on earth has the coaching staff not even like slam this into his head? Like, just try going up with your right, man. You got no shot.
Yeah,
it's
and
so
it's obviously ingrained in him from
I know,
25 years of hoops. So, but yeah, this is the NBA,
like if you can't use your right hand and go up for a layup.
I was gonna say things get scouted, but that's not even scouted. Like you just can't shoot inside hand layups in the NBA. You will get blocked. You get
Yeah.
blocked. I feel like you get blocked and, Reckley doing that.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like what the scouting report is for rec league. It's like that guy can't shoot
yeah.
with his right. Like,
Yeah, like if you go in, it just makes guys are too long, too athletic to show them the ball like that. Rob's getting blocked on outside to end layups. Like trying to swing it all the way around. So like it's not it. And he gets to the rim so much better than a lot of guys on this team. And it would just be nice if he could kind of finish there.
Rob or TJ? You're talking TJ there?
TJ, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
But
well,
even
that
then,
was
he
the whole
doesn't.
thing coming into this year is that he just gets the ball and he'll barrel to the rim and he'll be able to finish it. And it's just not even close. The drive and kick hasn't seemed to be as smooth at all. Nothing's
Yeah,
working. I mean, is there
yeah.
one thing for TJ this year that you've said, okay, well, at least he's got that going for him?
No, I mean, I
No.
think like he'd be shooting high 30s from three, but it's not really it's not like he's a 3-point shooter. It's not like he's out there shooting 6 threes a game when he gets minutes,
The
like
one thing he's doing well, it's like, well, that's gonna fall apart.
yeah, well, it's just like, well, that's not his game.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
good to see him shooting threes, and I think he's become a better 3-point shooter, and like that was obvious at summer league and stuff like that. But
If he can just take a corner three and make it, like that's great. But it's not.
yeah,
he's
that's
not
not
Bones
keeping him
Highland.
on the floor. Like I don't think he needs to be able to make threes. If he was playing 20 minutes a game, we would all say, he needs to keep making threes. But if he was playing 20 minutes a game, it wouldn't be because he's making threes.
Yes,
It'd be because he's doing other things. So, I just think I don't understand any kind of Finch hatred about the young guys this season, because I think he's given these guys a lot of the 10-minute rolls are weird and I don't like them really, but he's persisting with these guys. In a normal team, that TJ Shannon would have been out of the rotation weeks ago.
Yeah.
And never to be seen again. Buried.
It's weird though, because people are like, Finch, he's shackling Rob Dillingham, and then they put Bones Highland in, and he just does everything Rob Dillingham's supposed to be doing. So it's like, and I think Rob Dillingham's just not very good right now.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm more frustrated as well with TJ, is that you're 25 like Bones. I know you don't have the NBA experience, but you're older. You should be expected to be able to come in a different role and impact the game a little bit more. Rob, I expect him to impact the game a little bit more still, but I'm like, they've kind of built his game up from the they've torn his game down to the studs, and they're trying to rebuild it, and you can see the inconsistencies and how much he's struggling with that at times. TJ, I'm like, they've let you do your thing.
Right.
You're out there.
We know what you are.
Yeah,
we're not trying to change what you are.
And they run actions for him to get him downhill. They've let him kind of, be your drive and kick guy. They've let him attack off closeouts. They've encouraged guys to guys look for him when they're driving so that he can attack a closeout. They look for him in transition, which is his game. They've empowered him in a way that's completely opposite to Rob, in my opinion. Whereas Rob, I think he almost got there and they were like, "You're not good enough." You know what I mean? You're going to do all of these things that you've never done before, and that'll make you good. Whereas TJ, I think they've said, "Yep, we like the way you play. Go and play," and he's not doing it. So,
man, in the offseason, there'd be trade proposals with TJ, and I'd be like, "Ooh, I don't know. That's a pretty valuable piece right there." The fall it's dramatic.
You couldn't move him at the moment. You could move him, but it wouldn't be oh, we'll throw in TJ Shannon and
right,
get
because there was untapped ceiling there. Yeah, but now it's what even is the value? Rob probably has more value. Well, because he was a lottery.
Rob, I think Rob definitely, and that sticks around with you for a while.
Yep. I just mean I don't know. In terms of ceiling, Rob's got that over him now. So
yeah. All right, I want to end with some genuine positives, because even whenever you're talking about it, I mean, just talking hoops, I think it's hard to just sit here and just glaze dudes for 45 minutes. You want to talk about the improvements and.
I'm really bad at being positive, dude. I
think this was, I think we still slanting positive, but I want to end with I just want to talk about Gobert and Ant specifically about last night's game, because Ant just came back. But I just think last night's game was such a game, a fun game, and I want to talk about that in a micro sense as much as the season in a macro. Ant was phenomenal in that final few minutes. Even if you just narrow it all the way down to we need to win this game. It's the best team in the league. They've lost 2 games all season. They are robotic, like we said, late in games. It's they just have this process step by step by step, and they don't seem to mess up. And then you get this, mercurial dude, Anthony Edwards, who just comes in and, the robotic Cason Wallace, on ball defense that no one scores on, walk down. He might be one of the top 7, 8 perimeter defenders in the league, just walks him down in the clutch, step back three, hand in the face, bucket. Next possession, the best foul drawer, the best driver, the best scorer in the league, and unfortunately one of the best scorers in NBA history by all stats. Gets past his man, burns his man off the dribble, and there's Anthony Edwards to pin his shot to the backboard. Net final possession, again, one of the best scorers ever, walking down Anthony Edwards, and he takes his lunch money. Like, that's just superstar shit. That's, you beat OKC, but because you need to hit those moments. You need to win the big moments more than they do, and that's difficult because they're robots. But I thought Ant, what was that for? 3-4 possessions in a row where he was like, I'm just going to win this big moment against the best player in the league.
Yeah, and it's strange because having a superstar like Ant, a genuine top 5, 6 player in the league, even us will get on here and kind of be like, Ant needs to play better, he needs to be more consistent, whatever. But consistently against the best of the best, consistently, playoffs, regular season, when he's playing these elite teams, he gets better versus the elite of the elites, which is a trait that I can't, tell you how many players have that. It's just something that's like unheard of to be such a riser. Like, not just that, he's consistently good against these good teams, but no, he's like the best player on the floor in games with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sometimes, which he is a top 1 player in the league. I mean, man, it's just a privilege to be able to watch him and Target Center erupt. And yeah, sometimes I forget it when they're playing the Hawks and Ant scores 22 and it's ugly and I'm like, oh my God, can we just win this game? But no, man, I mean, it's games like this that remind me how much fun it is to cover this, talk about this team or whatever and just watch them. I mean, it's electric. It's electric.
Yeah.
And Grady on the call on national broadcast. I mean, it really doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, that was awesome. It's just I just sat there after the game kind of shaking my head thinking how many players in the league can do what he just did? I think Shai's probably one of them. He's an underrated and good defender. Wemby is obviously in a different way.
I'll take him over Luka in spots like this, even though I've seen Luka do it on my own team.
Luka can't do what he did defensively in that game. Luka can make big shots until the cows come home. He's one of the best big shot makers of all time. So, but to do it on one end, to do it on both ends, and to have two.
Did you name the only 3? Is it Ant, Wemby, Shai?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's someone I'm forgetting. Jason Tatum can probably do it. You know what I mean? He's
I'll take the other 3 though. Yeah, I'll put Ant over.
But there's guys who can do it as well. But it's it's a really short list of players who can both be your home run hitter on offense and then be your home run hitter on defense as well. And I just thought against the best team, Naz Reid called it a must-win game. I know that was a silly thing to say, but it was a
not
game.
Anymore, it's not a silly thing.
Yeah. But they needed to prove to themselves, I think. It's been, 20, how many games into the season? 27, 28? They needed to win a good game, man. They needed to win a game that was worth something. And this was the best chance to do it. And I think that Ant was good all game, but he kind of, rose to the moment. And then just to throw it to Gobert as well, I just thought he was excellent in that game. And he hasn't always, I've come in here especially and complained about him in big games. I just thought his rebounding intent, he had 14 rebounds. He would have had 14 tap outs that didn't count as rebounds as well. So many extra possessions. That's another thing you need to do against OKC is you have to win the possession game. You cannot let this team turn you over and get offensive rebounds, and they still did. They have maybe 13 offensive rebounds. Minnesota had 18, and that's all Rudy. No one else on this team gets offensive rebounds. And, Randle, I think might have had a few actually last night, I ran 5. Ran 5 last night, but Gobert had 6 and he's doing that every game at the moment. And those tap outs don't count as offensive rebounds. The 2 that DiVincenzo had, the 1 that Bones had, the 2 that McDaniels had, they're tap outs from Rudy, that are counting towards, those guys' stats. So I just thought he was fantastic. And he's been good offensively. I know Dane's been talking about this, so I'm not going to go too much on it because he's smarter than me with it. But like, he has found the rhythm offensively where I don't feel like he's been like, oh my God, Gobert can't be on the floor offensively for at least a
Yeah.
few weeks. The missed dunk last night was giving me war flashbacks. But yeah, I just
It's
thought,
the only highlight you'll see of his offensive game on Twitter and everything. But you
yeah,
know, it's like Rudy said, out of 100 possessions, he'll be victorious in most of them. It didn't
yeah,
exactly apply to offense, but it still applies to the same thing where like he's doing the little things that he needs to do, and there's no bigger momentum shift, man, than a tip out to like Dante DiVincenzo who just bombs a three when after you
exactly.
thought you missed a shot. I mean,
It's such a
huge.
killer for the
Yep.
opposition, like, and those are the big plays you need against great teams. And I just thought Rudy in general has like he was bad against OKC last season. I think Randall gets the brunt of the blame, but Gobert was bad, and they really like lost faith in him. I thought the coaching staff throughout that series, where they just didn't want to, like commit to giving him 35 minutes and hoping that he could beat their small ball looks, that he could out duel, Chet or Hartenstein. Like I thought they lost faith in that, and I thought last night was a good get back game for him. To be like, I can really impact against this team, which kind of throws back to what we was talking about at the start of this podcast, where it's like, he shot 3 of 7 from the field. It wasn't like this overwhelming Gobert game. He had 9 points, but he was a very prototypical Gobert, like no kind of box score, massive impact,
Yeah.
but you just
I'm never
felt
gonna
his
judge his
presence.
offense on like his
Yeah,
like he's got a good shooting percentage and all that, but if he shoots 3 of 7, I'm not gonna go, okay, then he had a bad night on offense. Like
yeah,
there's
and
so much that goes into his game.
he's gonna have some brain dead plays. Like that's
Yes.
Rudy. That's the Rudy experience. But like,
He's just
I
so
think,
involved in every play that of course he is.
yeah, the impact lately I think has been really high.
Yeah. And we've ripped him, so
Yeah,
good to
exactly.
good to tell praise him a
It's
little
the
bit
same
here.
with Randall, with whoever. Like you got to give these guys credit. Like we're all hoping this team wins games. So I'm hoping like Randall scores 40 points every game.
Right,
Like that,
exactly.
and I'm hoping Gobert kind of, dominates every game because the team's more fun when they do.
If it wasn't for like league-wide hatred and everything, I mean, Gobert would be up in the DPOY talks considering the Wemby injuries, but there's no
I
way
think,
he wins it, I don't think.
I think if it wasn't for that, he would be pretty clearly number one, to be
Yep.
honest.
Yep.
Like
It's
the
gonna be
the
Chet, but
impact,
like, yep.
yeah, the impact he has on this team's defense, and they're not a bad defensive team. Like I don't know what they are at the moment, but they'd be in the top 5 or top 10. Sorry. And they're 14 points better when he's on the court defensively.
Yep.
Like, and some of that is that his backups are Naz Reid and Julius Randle. But like,
Yes.
they're just, when you watch him, I think he's as good as he was in his Defensive Player of the Year season. I just don't think he has the defenders around him to really highlight how great he is. Like he wasn't like that year. I don't think people wanted to vote for Rudy that year either. But he was just so much better than everyone else
Yeah.
that
They
it
just
was
didn't have
like,
a choice. All right, one more, Rudy. Well, one more, they all say.
and then we're never talking to you again.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, I think he's been, especially compared to last season, like I think it's been a real big bounce back defensive year. I just think he's been awesome. Also, even in the games where he's been bad, and he hasn't had the impact, I think he's still always been like a good defender.
All right, I got one more take for us before we get out of here. It's
Mhm.
league-wide.
Okay.
I loved the NBA Cup. I thought it was electric, dude. The 2 semifinal games. Are you kidding?
I love it. No, I love it. That was a fist pump celebration. No, I love the cup.
Yeah.
Like I've said before,
And shout out to the Knicks. Shout out Carl. I mean, that played a big role. I was really cheering for the Knicks, but yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't see the downside to it.
No, the negativity around it is so weird. I don't get it. It was awesome. That was the best games of the year.
And maybe it'll take someone who isn't kind of, looked down on like Kat and Rudy, in that same way to be like Kat was. But I thought it was good that Kat was like, this is important.
But Wemby too, like Wemby kind of guided it through, and
and I think Wemby
the
would have
nonchalant
been
Thunder, like they were whatever. But Wemby and Kat led the way.
They're dweebs, dude. Like you know what I mean? That's the dweebiest team ever. But
they're undeniably awesome at basketball, but I hate them.
Yeah. Yeah, but I thought it was good that Kat was like, that he was like, this is awesome. because
Dude, he's still holding the trophy. Actually, he was playing with the trophy the other day. He won't let go of the
yeah,
trophy.
yeah.
It's great.
There's like, and that's what like teams. I mean, the Knicks are obviously a huge franchise, but like not very successful in the last 30, 40 years. Like these teams, I think it's good for teams like that to get some hardware, and teams like players like Cat who have who's never been kind of close to a ring really. Like
Dude,
it's
Cat's
good
an
for him.
NBA champion. All right, I can say that now.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's good for him to have that on his resume, and it's good for him. You know, like I've said this
Brunson highlighted.
before.
Like Brunson's a top 7 player right now, and it was good to just see him
Yeah,
in the spotlight. I know people say he
yeah,
plays like Shea.
exactly.
I don't see it. He's not really a foul baiter like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't like watching Brunson play. Really, I
Really,
agree
I
more
love
with
it,
him.
man.
Yeah, but I do like.
I'm
I
just a
think
Nick
he's
guy
a.
this year, so
Yeah, you are. He's obviously a great player though. Like it's good to have big players in big games. You know, Wemby versus Brunson, Wemby versus Cat. Like in a
yeah,
game that feels like even if it's manufactured, it feels like it means a little bit like more than a normal regular season November December game. Like,
yeah. Oh my God,
and
yeah.
I've said from the very beginning that like yeah, I'm a football soccer fan. And the European Cup, or not even the European Cups, but like the League Cups they do there, they have like England has the FA Cup and the League Cup, which are pretty much in season tournaments. You know, like they obviously with English football, it's a little bit different. Like they have the teams from all of the leagues, like the lower leagues play. It'd be like the G Leagues teams being in the cup as well. You know, like
Sure, okay.
but like it's not as important as the league in football. Everyone knows that. It's not as important as like
Yeah,
the European competition. Everyone knows that. They sometimes teams play like, the kids. You know, they play the 16 and 17-year-olds. They play like Rob
interesting. Yeah,
Dillingham would start and play 40 minutes. But when it gets to the final, everyone gets to a massive stadium. The players all celebrate like they just won a title. You know, like it turns into this big event and it's on the history books of these teams, and everyone talks about we've won 10 League Cup. Like it's a thing that
yep.
people appreciate, and I've always compared it to that maybe in 30 years if they keep doing this,
Hang
we're
the
going to
banner
look.
though. Knicks need to hang
Yeah,
the banner, man. What are you doing?
yeah, that's like buy in.
Yep.
If the Wolves won it next season, I think like in 20 years we would mention it like not like a championship, but you'd say they've won. Anthony Edwards won 2 championships and an NBA Cup.
Yes.
And we would know that there's a difference between those two
Yep. I like
things,
that.
but it would be like a tack on to his resume, and I think that's a good thing.
The next moves are to get it out of Vegas, put it in the higher seed stadium. You
And get rid of
just
those
whatever.
fucking colored courts. Sorry for my swearing, but the colored
Dude,
courts need to
no,
go.
man. Oh, I love the
The court,
stupid cards.
the championship game court is perfect.
Okay.
The normal colored
Okay, yeah.
hardwood with the
Just
big cup
yeah.
at both ends, and
Something
in the
about the
middle.
lime green and the blue cards do something for me. I don't know. It's
The
funny.
lime green is atrocious. I didn't mind the gray, like the one they played, the Thunder, the first game against the Thunder. I don't mind the
Who has the
gray.
light blue? I like the light blue. I don't know if you do, but I like the
Yeah,
light blue.
I actually
It's
don't mind
really
them.
just the lime green though.
A lot of
I'm just
people
like
hate the
this.
red. I don't mind the red. I mean, last year they played Portland, and it was like that like really dark gray with the red trim. And I think they had like maybe like roses on it or something, because
Okay.
they wrote the Rose City or something, Poland. I'm not great with my
Yeah.
city. Yeah, but that looked dope as well. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
The lime green is whack. You couldn't even see the trees.
It's
on the
not even a
court.
Wolves color, man. Like we
It's
just
not.
make it blue or something. I do like the light blue. But
Yeah,
the other change is to give the winning team a regular season win and then give them more than like 2 days off, because the Knicks have just played 3 games in 4 days and they lost a real game last night because
yeah.
of it, which
And
is
the
yeah,
Thunder got rewarded with their semi-final berth by getting a back-to-back with
right,
Minnesota
right.
away as the second one. So like
Yeah,
that's
so
not.
there should be just like a 2 day buffer NBA league wide or something after the tournament ends, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't mind. I wouldn't mind if they just did the whole thing in a week as well. Like rather than doing like, oh, we're gonna have a cup
I agree.
night.
Yep, I
Like
agree.
let's just play, 10 days of cup basketball, get the whole thing done. I think that would help the
Yeah,
buy-in
it's
that we
I'm
all.
because you don't like I don't care when the
No,
schedule comes out. I'm not like
you
these
just
four random games are
and
cup
you just
games.
turn on a game sometimes and you're like, oh, it's
Yeah,
a cup game. Like
yeah,
there's a
it's a
colored
cup
court,
game.
But I think it would be like, all right, for the next 2 weeks,
Yep.
it's cup basketball.
That would
That
add
would
real
be
stakes where people like know what's going on. Whereas
yeah,
if it's one every 4 games, it's like, okay, well, whatever this is
yeah.
again. Like,
And maybe if you are more of a casual watcher than we are, you would tune in, and the cup became a thing with a little bit more prestige over time. Like you would tune in for the 2 weeks, like
Well,
you'd
I
know,
didn't buy into
oh,
this
it's
cup until like the playoff part of it, So like that's when this
yeah,
year I was like, oh, I really like this. But the regular season part of it, where you're all doing your like play-in games or whatever to make the next round, I'm still like, this needs a lot of work.
yeah. I could kind of make it like a World Cup, if we're talking soccer again, like or even the World Cup, like basketball, or the Olympics, where it's like 2 weeks where
Yeah, and
you
it still
like you
counts in
play
the
some
regular season. Yeah,
you play some group games, you play, and then you just bang the whole thing out in kind of 2 weeks, and it builds. You don't, it's not stilted where you're not kind of sure. So even up to the semifinals, I was kind of like, oh, like there's only 2 games on tonight, and then it was the 2 cup games. Like I don't
they
pay
were like
attention enough
events
to
though.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but then when I turned them on, I was like, this is cool.
Yep. I look forward to them like all day. I was like, we got the cup finals tonight. Like that's
Yeah,
cool. The other great thing about it, shout out for getting the Prime crew and not the TNT crew to talk about it, because oh my
hmm
God,
yeah.
that would have been exhausting coverage if it was
How
the
good has it
inside the
been?
NBA.
I haven't watched the
Dude,
TNT
oof.
coverage all season. It's been
They're not even doing them
refreshing.
till like December. It's
Good.
December right now.
See, I
Yeah.
didn't even know that they were. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I haven't heard Charles Barkley or Shaq speak for months, and it's been refreshing.
Dude, the Prime show is great.
hmm
Blake Griffin, they're all great. I love them,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Steve Nash is cool. Like
They all just
like I
love
love.
basketball. Like that's
Yes,
step one.
it's not the hard. It's not hard, is it? Like it's not a hard thing to get basketball players who love basketball. It should be the bare minimum. So
I'd like to see
that's been
Ernie
good.
Johnson in a crew like that instead of a crew where
Mm,
it's like, oh, the
yeah,
cup sucks, basketball sucks, cat sucks,
yeah,
Gobert sucks.
yeah,
Like, all right, man,
yeah,
whatever. Like, God,
yeah.
I know
All
there's a
right.
lot of inside the NBA lovers, but
I
I'm
don't
not
get it.
one of them.
I'll never get it.
Me neither. All right, I know you got to go. I just really want to talk about the
Yes, I do.
cup. So, any
No,
words
you're
of
right.
wisdom?
It was a
Anything
good.
else? Should we get out of here?
Watch House and Grouse. There's a video out
Yes,
on the defense against OKC, which I spoke about earlier, but I can explain it better when I have it scripted in front of me.
that's right. Good stuff. Yeah, we'll be back next week. Episodes might be more often or just on
hmm
different days. We'll see.
Yes,
So.
yes. We are
We're
planning to
very,
do some more.
yeah, we're very scheduled and detail oriented over here. Good stuff. All right. And consistent. Bye, everybody.